Right, well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video from the Veggie podcast. I'm at home, the Modern Victory Garden today. I spent the last 2 days here basically clearing out this area just behind me right now. This was what I called the potager area. It was quite a bit of a mess beforehand, I'll be quite honest with you. A lot of work. It involved digging out several trees, bushes, holly bushes, mock orange tree. It's taken 2 days work to get it in the state that it's in now, and it's not brilliant, to be honest. A lot of work that still needs to go on, but for the time being I've cleared out the larger trees, left me a huge pile of wood for burning at a later date, and what we have left is I've moved the chicken run onto there just to let the chickens get rid of all the weed seeds in the soil and boost it up. Eventually that's going to be, I think, a fruit area but with herbs around the side, or I might make it a meadow. I'm a bit unsure at the moment, but I'm thinking the fruit area with a meadow is probably going to be the best option. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, they all seemed to blur into one. You may remember I sorted out all my herbs, which are just down here. They are looking so much better. They've had a nice boost. Plenty of rain has helped them, but the herbs really are producing well and giving us plenty of food to go on with. Now, I want to take you over to my veggie pod and just show you just what's going on in here, because I love the veggie pod. Absolutely brilliant bit of growing space. And we've got some salad leaves which are just starting to germinate, and lettuce leaves that were germinated before. Everything's going great now. Probably got to sow some more seeds to get my second load in coming in, but actually it's doing all right. You may remember I mentioned my peach tree which I had in a greenhouse over the winter, and I keep moving it out during the day. That is now outside permanently. Seems to be quite happy outside now. But we have got little peaches, little fruitlets just growing on those, so that has boosted things off really well. Let's head on into the greenhouse, which there's quite a bit going on in here actually. I've got quite a few more seedlings going on. The tomatoes and the aubergines that were planted before, they really have started to grow quite nicely and are boosting off. Still lots of seeds and seedlings to go. Beans that were sown a couple of days ago, they have started to germinate. So far everything is looking really good in here, and things are off to a really good start. Now, just outside the greenhouse I keep my couple of rhubarb plants. Only the two I have at home. One of them got off to a flying start, but it did put up a flower stem which I've removed. Then the rain has sort of made it all a bit, well, it's damaged the leaves basically. But the second plant, I can't work out what's going on. I think it's the chickens digging over the soil. It hasn't really got going just yet, so I might have to protect it off from everywhere else. Now, you may remember I planted some raspberry canes that I brought from the allotment down into a bed just in front of me now. Well, I think again the chickens are not letting those establish. They've been digging in the soil and causing no end of problems, and I think that stopped them from establishing. Saying that, I'm just looking at it now and I can see some very tiny green leaves, so we might be lucky. Now, if we head into the main beds, now potatoes, I've started to move those out into the paths now. The pots, they are actually growing quite well. I'm having to add more compost to earth them up. I've cleared them away from the bed because I want the chickens to dig over that, clear all the weeds away from there, and then in a couple of weeks time we'll start planting out some plants in there. The potatoes that are in the straw, I know there was a bit of a debate whether this is going to work. Well, at least one of them has started to grow. Early days yet, so we'll see what happens. It's certainly a lot slower than the rest, but we can certainly see what goes on. Now, the complete bed, I say the complete bed because it's the only bed I managed to get built this year, that's still got radish, carrots, beetroot, they've all germinated. The radish actually needs thinning out, which I'll do on a video later this week. Lettuce that I planted out here, they're off to a really flying start. They're looking really, really good. And then I've also planted some endive, which didn't seem to take as well, but don't mind that because I've got plenty of endive. Now, this middle bed, which is a fairly long one, I did have a load of, what did I have in there? Swede, that I planted out late last year. I've removed all those and I've planted out a couple of cabbages and kale. A little bit of an experiment, see how they get on. Did add some lime to the soil, but we'll kind of see how it gets on. The quail, that reminds me of the quail. Now, you may remember I got 2 new females. One of them has started laying an egg over the last few days, so I've been gathering those up and they'll be going in the incubator a bit later on today to provide me with hopefully some new quail chicks later on. Well, in a few weeks' time, in a couple of months, they'll be fully grown. They're so quick, those things. But the birds themselves have all established well. Bunny is still quite aggressive, so we've just got to tolerate him. Whereas Mindflayer and Demogorgon, the 2 males, they seem quite happy with each other, playing around all the time. Need to get them some females, which is what I'm hoping will come out of this lot that's going to grow. The top of the quail cage, I've actually got a few plants out here. A couple of gooseberry plants that I dug up from the allotment last year as a little bit of an extra plant. They've started to fruit. Got some pine berries, they're in flower. I'm really looking forward to these pine berries. And generally a few other interesting strawberries and plants up here all seem to be doing quite well. Now the peas I planted out just last week, I think it was. They've really put on a lot of growth and off to a really, really good start. So I'm hoping they will provide us with plenty of peas. I love peas, absolutely delicious. And the peas that were sown in the ground in December, they've started to flower. They're not a huge amount of pea plants, but they are flowering. So that might mean we end up with some nice little peas. Now, apart from that, there's just a lot of seedlings going on. Oh, the wicking beds, that reminds me, the wicking beds. They're actually doing really, really well. They're off to a flying start. They've needed hardly any watering because of that water tank underneath, if you like. So I'm really liking those wicking beds for growing food. They seem to be really, really working quite well. Well, that's just a quick update from the modern victory garden. What's going on here? There's still plenty of work going on. There's still plenty of time to get everything planted. It's still a bit early to plant most things just yet. But the main thing I'm doing at the moment is just getting these beds ready for planting, for growing. A couple of weeks' time, they'll be off and then we'll see just how good this modern day victory garden will provide us with as much food as possible. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you've been up to in your own allotment of garden in the comments down below. But for today, please take care and I'll see you again next time.